The New Jersey housing market isn't behaving the way a lot of people expected. Everybody keeps waiting for prices to crash. But honestly, that's not really the biggest story I'm seeing here in Monmouth County right now. Something else is happening underneath the surface. Some towns are moving, some price points are still competitive, and homes are sitting a little longer, buyers are becoming more selective, and affordability is becoming a much bigger issue than most headlines are talking about. I'm Melissa DeSantis. I'm a broker here in Monmouth County. And over the years, I've helped hundreds of families buy, sell, relocate, downsize, and navigate all kinds of markets. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the trends and warning signs I'm seeing happening right here in Monmouth County. Not to scare anybody, not to make dramatic predictions, but because understanding these patterns early can help you make smarter decisions, whether you're buying, selling, relocating, or simply trying to figure out your next move. And honestly, the final sign is almost one that nobody is talking about. Let's start here. At first glance, the Monmouth County market actually looks pretty healthy. Prices are still up year over year. Price per square foot is up too. Sounds reassuring, right? But let's slow down for a second. When your median home price is already hovering over $700,000, median appreciation doesn't always translate into massive financial gains for homeowners. Because at the same time, taxes are high, insurance costs are rising, maintenance costs are rising, and monthly payments are higher than they were just a few years ago. And here's something really important buyers and sellers need to understand. Monmouth County is not one market. Some coastal communities and towns with stronger school demand are still moving relatively quickly. Other areas are taking longer to sell. So when you hear somebody say the Monmouth County market is strong, understand there are multiple stories happening inside that statement. Don't just look at county averages. Look at hyper-local. Days on market matters. Buyer activity matters. Town matters, because you're not just choosing a house here, you're choosing a location, a lifestyle, and potentially your future resale story too. Here's another trend I'm watching. The gap between neighborhoods is growing. Towns like Colts Neck, Holmdel, Freehold, and Manalapan are operating in a very different environment than some lower priced areas within the same county. That doesn't make one right or wrong, but it does mean performance is not equal. Some towns benefit from stronger commuter access, stronger schools, larger lots, or simply a deeper buyer pool with higher purchasing power. Others just don't have those same drivers, and over time, that can create very different outcomes, even between homes that look similar on paper. So before you fall in love with the listing, do your homework on the town itself. Infrastructure matters, schools matter, commuter patterns matter, job centers matter, desirability matters, because not every Monmouth County zip code is going to perform the same way over the next decade. Now let's talk about something that's keeping inventory tight. The 3% mortgage lock-in problem is very real. There are homeowners sitting in Manalapan, Marlboro, Freehold Township, and all over Monmouth County right now with mortgage rates around 3%. And many of them are simply not moving. And honestly, can you really blame them? Someone who refinanced a few years ago could easily be looking at hundreds, sometimes close to $1,000 more per month to buy a similar home today. For the same lifestyle, that's a tough trade. And it's a major reason inventory still feels tight in many of the towns buyers want most. So what does that mean if you're buying? Well, you may need to widen your lens a little. Look at strong towns that haven't fully priced in every premium yet. Consider new construction where builders are active. Stay flexible, because waiting for inventory to suddenly flood the market may take a lot longer than people expect. And by the way, if you are thinking about relocating to Monmouth County, especially from the New York area, North Jersey, or out of state, your decision process is probably very different from somebody who already knows these towns inside and out. I actually put together a free Monmouth County relocation guide that breaks down the town's lifestyle differences, schools, commute information, pricing, and what buyers should know before making a move here. I'll put the link below in the description. Now, here's another big one. First-time buyers are getting squeezed. And when you look at the math in Monmouth County, it's not hard to understand why. In many towns, entry prices have climbed dramatically. Mortgage rates are higher, down payments are higher, monthly payments are higher. Even with assistance programs available, affordability is still a very big hurdle for many buyers. The buyer pool shrinks, and that doesn't just affect buyers, it affects sellers too. Because if fewer people can comfortably purchase starter homes or even mid-range homes, that changes timing, competition, and pricing flexibility. For buyers, my advice is simple. Get pre-approved early, understand your numbers before you start touring, and don't eliminate towns where the entry point may be a little more realistic for your budget. Because when a well-priced home hits the market in the right location, it still moves quickly. Now let's talk about something a lot of buyers outside the area don't know about yet. Infrastructure investments. Things like transportation improvements, commuter access changes, and new transit options can quietly reshape demand patterns over time. Areas that become easier to commute from or access tend to attract new buyer attention, and that can eventually influence pricing and demand. This is one of the reasons I tell clients to think beyond just the house. Research where development money is going. Research transportation plans. Research what may be changing over the next 5 to 10 years, not just what exists today. Because sometimes the smartest real estate decisions happen before everybody else notices the shift. Now, here's another issue that buyers in New Jersey are running into. And in my opinion, it's not getting enough attention. Construction costs and regulations are making it incredibly difficult to build true middle market housing. New Jersey has added a lot of residents over the last several years, but we have not built enough homes to keep pace. And when the new homes do get built, a lot of them skew towards higher price points because that's where builders can actually make the numbers work. Between permitting, taxes, labor costs, material costs, and zoning challenges, affordable new construction is tough here. So what exactly does that mean for buyers in Monmouth County? It means don't sit and wait around for a flood of shiny, affordable new inventory to suddenly solve the housing shortage. That relief may not come the way people expect. Sometimes the better play is looking at a well-maintained 80s or 90s colonial in a strong neighborhood with good fundamentals, rather than waiting for a perfect brand new option that may never hit your price point. Here's another thing buyers should be paying attention to, and that's local employment and demand drivers. A home's long-term value is not just about the house. It's also about what's happening around it. Monmouth County isn't only a commuter market anymore. Yes, New York City access does matter, but we also have healthcare systems, corporate employers, business hubs, education, and local job anchors that help support housing demand as well. Areas near strong employment corridors often benefit from steadier buyer activity over time. So before you commit to a neighborhood, think about more than just the listing photos or the kitchen finishes. Ask yourself, what's supporting the demand here? What employers are nearby? What does commuting look like? What's changing in this corridor over the next several years? Because those things matter more than people realize. Now let's talk about something every New Jersey buyer knows is painful: property taxes. New Jersey has some of the highest property taxes in the country, and Monmouth County is no exception. But here's what many buyers don't fully think through when they're running monthly numbers. Today's tax bill is not always tomorrow's tax bill. Assessments change and municipal adjustments happen, and purchase prices can eventually influence future assessments. So don't just calculate what the taxes are today. Ask questions about assessment history, reassessment timing, and what your longer-term carrying costs could realistically look like. Because being able to afford the house and being able to comfortably afford staying in the house long-term are two different conversations. And while we're talking about carrying costs, let's talk about insurance and climate exposure, because this one especially impacts certain housing types and locations. Shore communities attract a lot of buyers for obvious reasons. Belmar, Spring Lake, Seagirt, Long Branch. People love the lifestyle, but relocation buyers, especially buyers from the city, don't fully appreciate insurance costs until later in the process. Flood exposure, wind exposure, older homes, these things can materially affect ownership costs depending on the property and and location. And standard homeowner insurance doesn't automatically cover everything. So my advice is simple. Get insurance quotes early. Don't wait until you're deep into attorney review or approaching closing to figure out what those numbers look like. It can absolutely change the affordability picture. Now, here's the trend almost nobody is talking about, and honestly, this one may have some of the biggest long-term implications for Monmouth County. Demographics. We already know first-time buyers represent a smaller share of purchases than they used to. Many buyers are purchasing later in life. Younger buyers are struggling more with affordability, and at the same time, many longtime homeowners are staying longer than previous generations did. So what does that all mean structurally? It can affect turnover, buyer pools, and future demand patterns, especially in certain price ranges and housing categories. If you're buying a property whose future resale depends heavily on entry-level buyers, that's something worth thinking about. It doesn't mean don't buy, it means buy thoughtfully. Think about towns with strong schools, relocation appeal, move-up buyer demand, and long-term desirability, because those demand drivers matter. And that's really the bigger takeaway from this entire conversation. The Monmouth County market is not collapsing, but it's evolving. And the buyers and sellers who tend to navigate it best are usually the ones who understand the underlying patterns instead of relying on national headlines alone. If you're considering buying, selling, downsizing, relocating, or just trying to make sense of what's happening in your specific town, your timeline, or price point, feel free to reach out anytime. You can call, text me, or schedule a consultation through the link below. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe, because I'm here talking about what's actually happening in Monmouth County real estate. The good, the challenging, the data that really matters. I'm Melissa DeSantis, and I'll see you in the next video.